Hello and good morning. Right, so I'm coming down the stairs, and this is like a short video, so I'm just going local. And I'm going to give, hold on, what have we here? Another roll of fabric, which is topical actually, because this is, funnily enough, one moment. Right, now I can talk so as not to disturb the neighbors. We whisper. All right, so it's topical that there's a roll of fabric lined up there. Sometimes the delivery man will press the buzzer, but today he didn't. So it's topical in that I was having a discussion with one of my friends on Facebook. Hello, Lunga. Did I pronounce that right? Lunga. And antagonistic as I tend to be sometimes, I disputed the idea that the work that I do for my customers is done out of love, i.e. the quality. So I said to him I would do a video because it's easier for me to do this. And right, so I disputed the fact that I do it out of love. I said I have high standards. And so, as I said to someone over the weekend, if the beggar on the street asked me to make a pair of curtains, or the Queen, who I suspect is no more, in Buckingham Palace asked me to make a pair of curtains, both will get the same standards. But for the purposes of time, because I needed to go and do my exercise, I said I would do this video. But what I omitted to add was that the service depends on the attitude of the customer. And this, to save time, I figured I would do a video rather than try to put it into writing, because it would take too long. As I said, I needed to go and do my exercise. So, before Easter, a woman asked me to, right, she came to the flat, to my sister's flat, and she saw that I make curtains and blinds. And as people sometimes tend to do, thank you, as sometimes people tend to do, she asked me if I could lengthen a net curtain for her. So we discussed the logistics, and I said no problem. And I think it was 2 weeks later that she came. She came and she dropped it off. But in dropping it off, I realized that this isn't a customer that I want to work for. In fact, I was going to do it as a favor. Sometimes I will do things as a favor for people. It's not about the money. I will do favors. So I was going to do her a favor, but I suggested to her, when she showed it to me and she told me what needed doing, I recommended a shop just down the road here. If I walk, it will take me 5 minutes to get there. And without even asking anything, directions, prices, etc., she said, oh no, I can't, I don't want to spend that kind of money. Right, so straight away I know that you're mean. So you want me to do something for nothing for you, but you don't want to pay for it. So when she dropped it off, this net measures 10 meters across. And I don't know how much lengthwise, but it doesn't matter about the length. It's about the width. She dropped it off with a net paneling of a different type of net that looks really cheap. that measures just 4 meters across. So 4 meters means I will need to add at least 2 seams, and the extra length required is 8 centimeters. Now I've been making curtains, blinds and soft furnishings for a very long time, so I don't need to start making something or start altering something to know what it's going to look like. And I know this is going to look severely ugly with seams, because you have to do I can't remember the name of this. Imagine, I've not done this for such a long time, because nowadays people don't join seams. Nowadays you don't need to put seams in net curtains. Right, so it's like an inverted seam anyway. I can't remember the name of it, but it's that long that I can't even remember. But it would require these seams. So I ran it by my friend who's in the same trade as me. We used to work together. We've known each other for 25 years. And of course, in agreement, because she also knows what it will look like, she said that's going to look really ugly. Good morning. So we were in agreement on that. So, cutting to the chase anyway, so we've established that the woman doesn't want to pay for it, and that she would rather have the thing looking shoddy, ugly, and it's a nice piece of net. I'm not one for net curtains myself, but I have to give praise where praise is due, and this is a nice piece of net. So because she's mean, she's going to ruin it. So instead of getting a piece of net that I can join without putting a seam in it, or in this case 2 seams, because she doesn't want to spend money, she'd rather ruin it. So she said, not just that, but then she wanted me to add, this is something different, something more. She wanted me to add like a 2 centimeter, we call it a stand-up. So at the moment the tape goes right to the top of the curtain, but she wants me to add a piece, so it's got like a frill on top, right? So that's extra work. So I took it out. I'm gonna sort of take my time with this. I've arrived at my destination, but I'll just, because the tale is worth telling. So I took it out one Saturday morning, maybe 2 weeks ago, to have a look at it. And that was when I realized that the additional piece of net was only 4 meters wide. So straight away I just put it back. And I decided I wasn't going to do it, because this is something that's going to take me, I would say, a whole day to do. Right? Because with nets, ideally you need 2 people to be, on something so big, for example. You're probably better off having 2 people, one at either end, when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Especially when it comes to measuring. Right, so I decided there and then that it wasn't worth my time. Please note, I said my time, not my money. Right, so here we are. We've got someone who doesn't want to pay, who wants a freebie, and is happy for me to surrender a whole day of my life that I'm never going to get back. And as you know, time is money, which is what she doesn't want to pay. So cutting a very long story even shorter, I believe it was last weekend she messaged me, because she wanted it for Easter, by the way. And as you know, Easter came and Easter went, and she didn't get her curtains. So she messaged me, I believe it was last weekend, and she, right, the one thing people shouldn't try to do with me is to try to work their brain, i.e. try to manipulate me, because I have discernment. And I mean, she didn't even try. She sent me a message to the effect, that she's cleaning her windows on Saturday and she was thinking of hanging her new curtains with a winking emoji. So I wrote back and I was very scant on details, and I did this deliberately just to see what she was going to come with, because I could have said to her, it's gonna take me all day to do, and I don't have a day that I don't have one day spare to do this. But I didn't do that. I wanted to see what she was going to say. So instead what I said was, it's going to I took it out on Saturday, and it's going to take me a whole day to do. So I can't remember exactly what her response was, but it included no problem. So presumably she thought that I was going to get my finger out, as we say, and get to attention and work on her net curtain, which I have no intention of doing. Some would say, why don't you just tell her? Well, the last time somebody tried to pull this cheap trick on me where they wanted something for less than nothing, I had the fabric sitting in the flat for, I believe, close to 3 years before they actually came or sent someone to collect. Right, so in that case, it was because they went and bought, I advised them which fabrics to get, and they went to a shop, and the guy basically sold off his old stock cheaply, and it wasn't enough fabric to do the job, and the lining was wrong. I said to my friend who knows about this sort of thing, because we've been doing this kind of work for more than 30 years, more than 35 years in fact, and I said to her, do you remember that blackout lining that looks like cardboard? No, sorry, that feels like cardboard. And she said, oh my gosh, yes. And I said, well, yeah, that's the one that this woman went and bought. So this guy must have had that in stock for the longest time, and we're just trying to get rid of it. So you will see, so this is what sometimes people will do. They buy cheap, it's not appropriate, and they want the best. I remember I had one woman, obviously I didn't do the job. She wanted velvet curtains. So she wanted velvet that looked like it cost £200, and she would have been happy if I could have purchased it at £200 a meter. But she would have preferred it to be a fraction of the cost, maybe £10 a meter, because it's one of these people who want to show off for their friends. Right, so you get those types of people. And I don't believe I've ever done a job for someone like that. Right? So in this instance, no, it isn't out of love. It is out of having high standards. If I undertake to do the job, I will do my best, no matter who I'm doing it for, no matter whether I'm doing it free of charge or for the top amount that you can charge for such a job. You get the same standard. However, I'm going to match your attitude. No, actually, I'll see your attitude and I'll raise it. If you're cheap and you want something for nothing is what you will get, plus a whole lot of frustration. So I've had this curtain sitting in the flat since, I don't even know when Easter was, but it was before Easter. And it will continue to sit there until such a time as she decides she really, really wants it, and she decides to come and collect it. So that is the sum total of how I go about doing business. Right, so have a good day, look after yourselves, and don't let people cheat you. Take care, bye-bye.